Hello, happy crafters. It's me, Lisa, the DIY Diva, and today I have got 10 different gingerbread DIY projects for the upcoming Christmas season. I don't know about you, but I am so excited to craft for Christmas, and I can't wait to share these with you.
It all just goes away. Things I plan to say, oh baby.
So to get started, I'm going to be using this air dry clay by Crayola, and I'm going to be making a lot of gingerbread men. So I found these gingerbread men cookie cutters on Amazon, and they work perfect for the air dry clay. And the air dry clay works so well for making fake cookies and fake bakes and things like that. And because this video is all about gingerbread, I thought this would be a really good craft to get started. So I'm rolling out the air dry clay and I'm working on my silicone mat. And then I just take a cookie cutter and press it into the air dry clay. It comes out really easily and it actually dries really quickly. The clay doesn't break apart, it doesn't crack, and it makes really wonderful gingerbread cookies. So once all of my cookie shapes had time to dry, then I painted them with some folk art paint. Now it doesn't matter what color you want your cookies to be, but I was going for a gingerbread color, so I used different colors that would resemble gingerbread. But then I decided to darken up the cookies a little bit because they were a little too light, and I just did another coat of paint on the cookies. The paint dries really quick so you can get on to the next step quickly, which is to apply white paint, which will look like frosting. So I'm using puff paint, and I believe this is by Tulip, but I also found some at Dollar Tree. And I love this because it literally looks like white frosting on all of my cookies. So I just piped on some frosting or some puff paint to make my gingerbread men look like they were cookies. I pretty much used the same style of gingerbread man on each of the cookies. I did change things up a little bit, like on their faces or how many lines I put on their hands or their feet, but I would say overall each of the cookies looked very similar. And for myself, I found it easier to make all of the cookies first, and that way they would be all ready for when I was doing my other projects. But if you can't find air dry clay, you can go to Dollar Tree and find these cute little gingerbread men and women. They had boy and girl gingerbreads, I'm assuming because the girls had the bows. So you could literally use these like gingerbread cookies in your decorating, but I decided I wanted to have them all be pretty similar. So I removed all of the stickers that were on the gingerbread cookies. But I did leave the white because I did like that. And I just came back with some puffy paint and I painted over the eyes as well as the mouth of the cookie to make it have a similar appearance to my other cookies. Then I added some buttons down the front. And that is pretty much it. That is a very simple way to make gingerbread cookies. Now I want to make some plates to have my gingerbread cookies sit on. So I had these plastic plates that I found at a thrift store, and they do have plates like this at the Dollar Tree as well. Then I just took some scrapbooking paper and I just cut it down so that the paper would fit down into the center of the plate. I just continued around the scrapbooking paper until it would fit just in the center because I do want to paint the outside edge of the plate. And since it's Christmas, I want these for Christmas, so I'm going to be using a red paint. Now this red paint is by Deco Art and it's called Silk Paint, and it works really well. I did also give the outer edge a coat of Mod Podge so that it won't peel the paint off of my plate. And isn't that cute? Just like that, I have a plate of gingerbread cookies. And they also work really well as little extra decorations if you're going to be decorating a tiered tray. Lots of options with these gingerbread cookies. I'm sure you know that Dollar Tree has these wreath hangers, but I found one I really liked on Pottery Barn, so I wanted to see if I could make one similar to that. So I came back with the paint that I've been using, which is by Faux, for painting all of my gingerbread cookies. And I painted the wreath hanger with this acrylic paint. It did take 2 coats of the paint to really get it so you wouldn't see any of that original color that was the black of the wreath hanger. Next, I came back with a paint pen and I just drew some lines. Now you could do this with the puffy paint as well, but I was trying to go for something easy, so I just used a paint marker. I wanted it to look like the white was stitched onto the wreath hanger, and then I came back and just added some little dots in between all of the straight lines that I made on the hanger. And once that paint had time to dry, then I did give it a coat of Mod Podge. I found this really pretty fake gingerbread cookie at Hobby Lobby. It was $1.50, so it was just a tiny bit more expensive than the Dollar Tree. But I didn't like the red pieces. I guess they're supposed to be like red hot candies. So I came back with some puffy paint, and all of those little red spots, I covered them up with the puffy paint because I want this to look like a gingerbread cookie. I was really impressed with how well this puff paint worked. This paint is from the Dollar Tree. It only took 1 coat of this paint to cover up each of those little red berries on the ornament. I like that a lot better. Then I came back to my wreath hanger and I put a little bit of E6000 as well as some hot glue for the instant stick, and I secured the ornament to the wreath hanger. Now there is my Pottery Barn dupe for a gingerbread wreath hanger, and I really do like how this turned out. The wreath hanger paint is a little bit darker than the ornament, but I do like the difference in the color. Now I made these snowflake shapes using the air dry clay from earlier. Once the clay had hardened up a bit, I came back with some gingerbread color acrylic paint and I painted each of the snowflake cutouts. But just like my gingerbread cookies, I wanted the snowflakes to be a little bit darker, so I came back with a darker paint, which worked out really well because I do like that darker color. You can see the puff paint a little bit better. So after that paint had dried, I did come back with the puff paint and I just drew different designs onto the snowflake shapes. This is so much fun and it's so easy to do. I feel that this is a project that is very beginner friendly. You don't really have to have any skill. You could decorate them however you want them to be. And you know that they say that no 2 snowflakes are alike, so none of my snowflakes are exactly alike either. Lots of different patterns, but I really think these do look like snowflake cookies. Aren't they pretty? And then I put them onto one of those plates that I had made earlier, and I'm using them for decorating on a tiered tray that I have. Actually, it's like a tiered riser more than a tiered tray. Now, this is the paint that I've been using for all of my projects. It's Nutmeg Brown. And I had these foam dice from the Dollar Tree and I want to turn them into little gingerbread people. Now, I know other people have done this craft, but with these foam dice, it is so easy to make these gingerbread people. So I did 2 coats of the paint on each of the dice. Then I came back with the Dollar Tree puffy paint and I painted that all around the top of each of the foam dice. For mine, I'm doing 3 dice, and I did end up using about 1.5 containers of the puffy paint. And once I had the paint dribbles going all the way around the dice, then I did come back and I filled in the center. One thing that's really fun with this puffy paint is it's puffy. So you can put it onto whatever you're painting and kind of lift it up, and it will make different levels of the paint on your project. For the gingerbread people, it really does look like frosting. And once I had the puffy paint on top of each of the dice, I came back with some sprinkles. I would recommend doing this when the paint is still wet because that will help the sprinkles stay in place on the top of your gingerbread person. You can sprinkle them wildly all across the top, or you can do what I'm doing and come back and be very deliberate of which sprinkle you're putting on your project. And once the puffy paint had dried, I came back with a black paint pen and I drew faces on each of my gingerbread characters. And you could use vinyl if that's what you have, or you could use paint. It really doesn't matter as long as you're happy with the faces that you make. Isn't that cute? It's so happy. Then I came back with a tiny bit of glue, and I'm actually using a Dollar Tree skewer, one of those wooden bamboo skewers, and I'm putting a little bit of glue onto the cheeks, and then I'm taking peppermint sprinkles and I'm going to use those as the cheeks for my gingerbread person. I repeated this process on each of the gingerbread dice that I had made. And then I came back and added some white to their eyes, at least the 2 that had open eyes. I think that just really elevates the look of these little gingerbread people. Next, I came back and used a red sprinkle for each of my gingerbread people's noses. And these are my gingerbread dice. I am so happy with how these turned out. They are so cute. They look so happy. And this project was definitely one of my favorites. Now, this is just a sneak peek of the next video that I'm going to be sharing with you. So if you want to see this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and come back on Thursday or Friday, and I am going to have this video. This is going to be so much fun. The whole theme is hot cocoa and hot fudge. But let's get back to the gingerbread projects. So I'm going to be making like a riser, and I'm just using 3 different pieces. So I've got this plate. I'm going to tip it upside down, just like that. Next, I'm going to take a Dollar Tree candlestick, and I'm going to secure that with E6000 to the center of the plate, and then I'm going to use a Dollar Tree cake pan on top. And once it's had time to dry, this is what it looks like. Again, I'm going to be using my Nutmeg Brown paint, and I'm going to paint this riser because I do want to use this in my decorating this year, which has a lot of gingerbread in it. And I thought it would look really nice to have a gingerbread colored riser. And it took 2 coats of the folk art paint to really make sure it was nice and covered. Now this has a matte finish, but But if you wanted to make sure that it was going to stay, you could also put a coat of Mod Podge on it. And then you can just add in some extra things. I had lots of gingerbread cutouts left, and I added in some different size Christmas ornaments along with some little pieces of pine. And I just wanted to show you how easy it is to decorate for Christmas without getting very fancy or spending a lot of money. Now this is a very easy project. So I have this Dollar Tree picture, and I believe this is from Valentine's Day. And I actually bought this gingerbread print from Etsy. It comes in different sizes, and so I just found a size that would fit into my frame. And then using my paper cutter, I cut it down to the size that would fit into this Dollar Tree frame. Next, I used some craft glue on the back of it, and I put it into the frame. And then I used a scraping tool to scrape it down, and that project is done. That was so easy. And because that was so easy, I wanted to make a gingerbread house, so I did that with a website online, and using another Dollar Tree frame, I just cut out the top corners and I fit the picture into the picture frame. And just like that, I have some Christmas artwork for my decorating. Again, something so simple, you don't have to do a lot of work, and it's not very hard, and it does not take a lot of time. Now I decided I wanted to make a crate to hold some of the gingerbread cookies that I had made. So I took a Dollar Tree crate, then I took some tiny wood turnings and I glued those to the bottom. Next, I took that Deco Art silk red paint and I painted the crate with the red paint. And I was sure to get the inside edges of the crate as well. Then I came back with this fabric, and I thought it would look nice because it's green, so the green and the red go together for Christmas. And I cut off a piece of the fabric and then I secured it into the crate with a little bit of hot glue. Next, I came back with some Dollar Tree floral foam, and I just secured a couple of the gingerbread cookies to the back. I don't want them to fall over, which is why I'm using just a little bit of hot glue. Then I put another piece of that fabric in to cover up the floral foam, and then I added in a couple more of the gingerbread cookies. Next, I came back with some jute twine, and I just tied it around the center of the crate and added a bow. That is pretty cute, just like it is. I just have to put my gingerbread cookies back in, but I did add a little bit more floral foam because I want to have my gingerbread cookies standing up. And this is what it looks like on the tiered riser that I have. I added in a couple of pine pieces and I think it looks so cute. Now I got this in a Michael's grab bag, and originally it was $20, but I think I paid $5 for the grab bag. This had some raised wooden pieces, so I removed those, but it also had a really nice textured background, and I thought that would be perfect for what I want to use this for. So I used some white acrylic paint, and I covered up all of the wording on the inside of this picture. So this was actually for Easter, but it's going to be for Christmas now. It did take 2 coats of that acrylic paint, but once it was dry, then I decided I'm going to make a Christmas tree that's like bending over. So these greenery pieces are going to be the trunk of my tree. I did bend the top of it because I want this tree to look like it's bending over. Now, I've seen people do this with snowmen, but I've never seen anyone do it with gingerbread cookies. So the first thing I did was build the tree, and I just took random pieces of pine that I cut into smaller sections, and I put them all over that center trunk of my tree. And I found that it was easiest to do this by using the little pieces because I could get the shape of the tree that I wanted. Next, I came back with some of my gingerbread cookies and I pushed them off to the side of the picture to make it look like they're standing on top of each other, trying to reach the top of the tree. And I also took some remnants of different ribbon that I had, and I just had little pieces of it, but this is why I don't throw things like this away, because I know there are going to be projects that I can use them for. So I keep them in my craft stash, because even though this may not be enough ribbon for a large project, it's perfect for a smaller project like this one. So I just wound that ribbon all throughout the tree. Then I came back with some little ornaments. Now these are from Hobby Lobby and they are for my little Christmas tree collection that they have. And I just took some of the red ornaments and I glued them onto my Christmas tree. But I wanted my tree to look like it had a trunk, so I went outside and I found some bark from trees and I took little pieces of bark and I just glued that to the bottom of my tree. Then I came back with a couple of candy canes. I wanted to make it look like a heart, so I took 2 candy canes and I glued them facing each other. And I added a few little gold beads into my tree as well to make it look like it had some more decorations. And I had a couple of gingerbread cookies left over, so I glued those to the top of the frame. And this is the finished project. I love how this turned out. This is so adorable. It is so cute, and it definitely makes me smile even now as I'm staring at my gingerbread men trying to put the star on top of their Christmas tree. And I can't believe it, we've already reached the end of the video. There were so many projects that we made. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click the subscribe button and click the bell notification so you'll get an alert every time I have a new video coming out, which if you were watching earlier, you know will be this coming Thursday or Friday with a lot more little projects with hot fudge and things like that, perfect for decorating your Christmas tiered trays or even turning into ornaments. There's so many things that you can do with the supplies that you get at Dollar Tree, along with the affordable Christmas decorations that everybody seems to have right now. I hope that I've inspired you to make some of your own decorations for Christmas this year. You don't have to spend a lot of money. All you need is a little bit of inspiration to help you to have a magical Christmas this year. Happy crafting!
I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day